Welcome to Podcast Heroes, Week 3. I'm your host, Billy. We got
Bentley.
And I'm Aaron.
What have you guys been up to this week?
Not a ton. I've been playing Heroes every day. I got Pillars of Eternity.
How are you liking it?
It's awesome. If you're the kind of person who loves Baldur's Gate, those old games, that classic RPG style single player game, you're going to love Pillars of Eternity. I'm really into it, but that's not to say that I haven't been dabbling in my heroes. I've been playing mostly Sylvanas still. I'm excited about all the new news.
Yeah, definitely a lot of new news. What have you been up to, Bentley?
Not a whole lot, but I did play a little bit of Sonya, and I'll go more in depth on our later segment. But really enjoyed her. Not a lot of playing, just because of getting rid of all the work I've had built up for school and finals week. But yeah, just kind of a slow week in general. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's dive right into it. This is kind of a special podcast week for us because a huge patch just got dropped. And so instead of, just having a lot of variety of segments today, we're going to pretty much be talking about the patch only.
She's a big one.
Yeah,
well,
big
in addition, the announcements that were made.
Right. Quite a few announcements. The big one being the one yesterday. Of course, don't worry, all you fans out there. We will still have our Watch Us Climb segment because that's definitely a weekly thing we're going to include.
Oh, of course.
So don't panic. We know you are all worried about that.
But we're gonna have to delay our featured build.
Yeah, no featured build this week.
So stay tuned for next week for a featured build.
Yeah, we have no idea what it's going to be yet, so, time will tell. The first thing I want to talk about, though, is the free rotation. It's Tuesday, new free rotation this week. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I feel like it's a huge repetition of what's come out previously. We got Lily, we got ETC, Jaina, Uther, Sonya, Sergeant Hammer, and Thrall. What are your guys' opinions here?
The major upset for me is we just saw Sylvanas, who I spent 15,000 gold on right when she came out, and I was so excited, and now everybody has played her. Now, I don't want to play this champion that everybody's playing, but I haven't been able to play Lost Vikings. I didn't want to ditch out 10k, but they've never been free. And I don't know what the reasoning behind that is. I don't know.
Sylvanas got released almost a month after Lost Vikings, but Sylvanas has been on Free Week. And
after
Lost
5
Vikings
weeks.
haven't. Yeah, after 5 weeks.
That's crazy. And another hero with a similar situation is Abathur. And that's basically the whole reason why I haven't purchased him, is because I haven't played him at all. And he hasn't been on free rotation since what, like December, you said?
December 16th was the last week.
That's ridiculous for a hero that's been since day one, and it was one of their most unique characters. He just needs more exposure, and I think that's part of why people don't like him when they're in a group with him.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of experience playing with him. I'm with you on this one. Like, I want to try him. I want to play him because I do like those RTS games. I like having the micro element. And so that's why I both want to play both Abathur and Lost Vikings, because those are, two micro-heavy champions, and I haven't had the opportunity to do that yet.
Maybe Blizzard just doesn't know how... They don't know where to fit them in the rotation. Because you know how there's always kind of like a... you get like your damage and your supports and your tanks. Where would Abathur... I know they're all specialists.
You mean as the meta is developing, where is their place in it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and in the rotation, I think they're afraid that it's going to replace some other heroes that would better suit that.
You look at their rotation every week. They always have 2 warriors. They always have 2 supports. They always have 2 assassins and 1 specialist.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like they haven't found a reason to put those out when they could instead be playing Sergeant Hammer, which I know I've seen at least once on free rotation since I started playing this game back in March.
A couple times.
A couple of times at the least. Why haven't these 2 gotten a chance? So, we'll keep our fingers crossed. We got next week. Maybe it'll come out next week.
I think it might be because the Lost Vikings are so strong right now, and they don't, with all that soak, they don't know a way to fix it.
I think they're strong in the right hands, because I've seen some very bad Lost
That's
Vikings
absolutely
players.
true.
I agree, and that's
totally
actually very similar with all specialists. I would say
they're either good or they're bad.
They're good with the person playing them. The person playing them has to have that knowledge of how to play this. I mean, they're a specialist. They're special. I mean, that's the whole reason.
They have a special niche in the game.
Yeah.
All right. So out of these 7 champions, what's your guys' dream team?
ETC, Jaina, Uther, Sergeant Hammer, and Thrall. I think it's the strongest. If you just hit level 15, you don't own a single champion, you're saving your gold, that's the team that you and your 4 friends can play.
That's the team. I agree.
If you're not 15 though, you could substitute Thrall in for Sonya for that DPS, I would say. And I played a little bit of her, and she can punch out some damage.
She can.
Don't
She
underestimate
absolutely
her
can.
with her
That
spins.
Beyblade, yeah.
Oh yeah, and her spins and her her reverse hook basically. I mean, she's a good character. I mean, she's a good hero.
And if we consider Blizzard's team pick for the level 1 people, so if you don't have 12 or 15, you're stuck with Lily, ETC, Jaina, Uther, Sonya. That sounds scary.
That's still a pretty good team.
Yeah, and that-
I would be shaking in my boots a little bit.
And those supports, especially Uther,
You're not
playing.
going to get to Jaina.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Uther is a literal shield against all those guys.
Well, let's talk about the announcement. Yesterday, Blizzard dropped a big announcement on us. They hyped up KT, which of course got released today.
I thought
But-
that was the announcement. I thought hey guys, Kel'Thuzad is coming soon.
Yeah, coming soon, and then they spoiled it by releasing him today, so it was a real quick release.
Mm-hmm.
I think the big one here, though, is Johanna.
I
The
would
Diablo,
agree.
the Diablo champion is coming out. We don't know when. My personal opinion, I think May 19th, along with the open beta, but I know you guys
That's
disagree
ambitious.
with that.
That's very ambitious.
That gives it 1 week.
But particularly considering that the only video, and the video I'm referencing, if you go on YouTube, there's a video that Blizzard or maybe somebody else put out.
I think it was Blizzard, but yeah.
Okay, Blizzard put out a video, and it has all of her abilities, and you can see what she's doing. And I think that we'll talk about that here in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But her D is just blacked out, so I think there's still some work to do before
Yeah.
she's play ready.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say almost maybe they're maybe planning to release her and maybe another hero with the actual launch of the game.
Well, because it
I
is
would
only
bet
June
launch.
2nd. Yeah, it is only June 2nd. So
Yeah.
and they talked about doing a little bit of Blizz. Maybe it's just me being hopeful because Kael'thas really isn't my kind of champion.
Okay.
He's an assassin.
Yeah.
And I'm not much of an assassin player. I really want to have that. I want to have a new warrior to try out. So maybe it's just my personal bias, but I'm really hoping for next week.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say May 19th. You guys are saying June 2nd.
Yeah, I'm saying the
Another one of my friends was saying, "Man, I don't think that I'm gonna like Kael'thas. He just doesn't seem to have that mass appeal like Sylvanas does." But then he played him, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I have to get this champion. He's so much fun."
It's just crazy how much those new characters are just so makes the game just feel so fresh. And
yeah.
that instant rush of, oh my gosh, this guy is awesome, so new, and
Everyone starts playing.
Yeah,
we get
and
into
we'll
the
get
patch
more
notes.
into it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the abilities that we do know Johanna's going to have. They have released all the abilities. The first one, her Q, is called Punish. It's a 8-second AoE with a slow. That's followed up by her W, which is called Condemn. It sucks enemies towards her. In an AoE type sphere, we see Shield Glare as her E. It blinds enemies, which will be really fun. I really love a blind element in this game.
Yeah, and it says-
we haven't seen it quite yet,
It
really,
says-
have we?
Makes them miss their next 2 basic attacks within 4 seconds. So think about that. That's basically one of the traits that you can get, or one of the level up options, right? Is to, if you're a warrior, you can choose to have.
There are some champions that have something like
Yeah,
that.
so
you're
I
right.
mean, and she has that built into her shield glare. I mean, that's pretty. She's going to be tanking, obviously.
We'll see if that sticks, because it didn't stick for Brightwing. They nerfed Brightwing's block down to, because the fact that she could just prevent and then rewind, she could prevent 2 auto attacks from hitting at all, and then rewind and prevent the next 2 from hitting. They had to cut it down to 50% damage reduction.
Right. So that'll be interesting. What do you guys think about the 2 other basic abilities? The Punish and the Condemn. I really like Condemn. I think it'll be a lot of fun to play. Mostly because it feels a lot like Diablo's Overpower to me.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I can already see so many combos with Condemn, just the way it can suck enemies in. I can already see an ETC
A
Joanna,
Gazlowe with his AoE ult.
even Tyrande with her Starfall. I mean, the list goes on and on about all these area attack ults that we have in the game. I mean, this is and that's just her W.
That's just her W. You're right. And her Q. I mean, gotta love having an AoE slow. It's always fun.
And she's gonna need it to just pick off those. I mean, the other characters.
Those quick champions.
Yeah, those quick.
Freaking Vala.
Those softies.
Yeah. Let's talk about her 2 ultimates real quick. Blessed Shield is, I believe, the first one you get. The one you don't have to be level 2 in order to have.
So it says right here, it stuns the first enemy for 2 seconds, and then it bounces to 2 other nearby enemies.
Have you seen, though,
and stunning them for
the range on it? It's huge.
It's huge. It's a huge range. It's like almost twice the length of Muradin's stun. Muradin's throwing stun. Like.
Think Stitch's grab range.
Yeah.
Like, it's a long range, and it's going to make for some really sick plays. I can see, like, somebody running away, getting hit by that right before they get to the gate, and then get that Stitch's pull all the way out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And even just starting a team battle, if you throw this in there, that's a instant 3-hero stun on the other enemy team. If it bounces off the first 2-second stun, and then 2 shields split out into 2 other heroes with a 1-second
stun, and it lets your team really get a good engage.
And then if she jumps in with her condemned and then all the ults, I mean, I feel she's getting pretty intense here.
It'd be a big wombo combo.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of her other ultimate though. It's called Falling Sword. She jumps into an area and knocks all the enemies up. I can see huge synergy with Sonya with this. And Sonya's jump in, and when she creates that little crater, I think that could be really cool.
I agree. And
or Tyrael.
Or Tyrael, absolutely.
Yeah. It's just really cool to see all these, because I played a lot of Diablo, so a lot of these skills are just straight out of the Diablo game. And it's funny because I always went with Falling Sword with my build and with a Crusader in Diablo. So just to see it again in a different game being used, it's just really awesome.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
So I picture a team of ETC with his global ult, Johanna with her global ult, Falstad flying in, Brightwing teleporting in, and then all of a sudden, hey, here's the team.
Yeah. Show up out of nowhere,
Wow.
just drop down on top. I like that idea.
That's gonna be
That's
fun.
a pretty fun idea.
Abathur for the support.
Yeah. You and your love affair with Abathur, I swear.
Maybe
It's
he'll
gonna
do
kill me
hero
one day.
rotation that week.
Yeah, maybe he'll be on free rotation.
50
finally.
years from now.
Yeah.
And then the last thing on Johanna is her trait. It's called Iron Skin. It grants her a huge shield as well as makes her unstoppable. The unstoppable element is what really makes me excited for it. I love that idea. But I also really like the idea of being unstoppable. So.
I mean, I guess we won't know until we see it in action in game, but it sounds like, I mean, by the look of the stats, it looks like it's going to be pretty intense. I mean, it's just her trait too. For 4 seconds, she's unstoppable, basically.
Exactly. Well, and from what Blizzard said, it sounds like she's going to be more of a support, so I don't think she'll be dealing a lot of damage. I think she'll be a lot more similar to like
Muradin?
Uther Muradin kind of combo.
Just to stun and get the enemies, out of place, out of position kind of deal. But I don't know. I mean, we saw her video. She was doing some good damage, guys.
And I think it'll depend a lot on the level ups that you get with her.
Exactly.
It's like you can probably build her either way.
This is off topic, but I have to say it because I have to give Billy some credit.
Uh-oh.
Because we're talking about mobility and getting people out of position. We were in this game and we were all at the boss, and they had just came and totally wrecked us, and they were going to take the boss, and we were holding on for dear life, sitting on the node, trying to cap it, and then out of nowhere, here comes this Tyrael who pushes everyone back, and you see the small remainder of our team just triangulate and keep them off of the circle, and we got the boss, and we were able to escape.
In the middle of 5 of them.
It was pretty awesome.
I used that Tyrael blocking, the blocking field he gets on his Q at level 16. It's just big enough to knock you off of the capture node on those neutral mobs. Throw it down in there. It pushed them all away.
So you guys stole their boss?
We
had
took it, and we were defending it.
We were defending it. They came in with all 5
Wow.
and got a lot of us down really fast. But we managed to barely pull it out, and it really kind of helped us.
I think that his Q and the fact that you can teleport onto a node even if someone else is there
and then push him off.
I think that put him back in competitive play.
I can see
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And I can see how this, that would really relate with Johanna. Huge crowd control. Crowd control is a big thing for tanks. It's always important to have. So it'll be a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, the biggest thing I think Blizzard needs to keep an eye on is when they release these champions is not just the champions itself, but what that champion does to the whole meta of the game with other
I'm
champions.
Sure
How it
that
affects other
I think
champions.
that they definitely are taking that into consideration.
Because that's huge. Because teamwork is a huge thing in this game, and that can affect the whole team.
Billy and I were talking earlier about with the lack of items in this game, it makes balancing a little bit easier.
I agree.
Because I'm thinking specifically about my favorite champion, Sylvanas. They changed, I should say, they removed follow through and replaced it with a new, very similar talent, which basically cut the value in half. And it needed to be done because there's really no point at which a talented Sylvanas is not casting a spell and doubling her attack
Well,
damage.
and to follow through with that, follow through, the ability they removed is on other champions.
Yeah.
Other assassins have it. So instead of just removing follow through from the game, they just removed it from one champion and gave her a different ability that was a nerfed version of that. And I really like that. I agree with you full-heartedly. The fact that they don't have to remove an item, or they don't have to, disable an item for a period of time, or, take one item away from an overpowered champion and thus affecting other champions across the board.
Or create a specific item just for that champion.
Right.
We don't need items. What we need is the power-ups.
Right. And so, yeah, I really like that ability in this game. So that was really cool to see them come through with that.
There is a worry though that if the only thing that they can change to balance the game is heroes' skills, that means that your builds are basically going to be on the mercy of their whole whatever they're going to do next patch. I mean, your build, however you play that character, and I know that it differs from game to game, map to map, but the main way you play might change depending on how they patch the game, and I mean that's
and that could
pretty,
either be good or bad.
it's like a double-edged sword, right?
And it must be a good thing because the top comment on the announcements from Monday was, "Shut up and take my money."
Well, there you go. I think
Yeah.
they're ready for release, right?
Well, hey, talking about taking money, let's talk about the skins coming out on this announcement. We got 3 of them. We got Bikini Stitches, Super Sonya, and Martian Gazlo. I'm excited. I'm a big Stitches fan. I love any
Can
warrior
you
in this game.
pre-order Bikini Stitches?
I wish, because I would throw like $20 down on. Well, okay, not quite that much.
Yeah, you
but
would.
Okay, I would. You're right. I think it looks great. I love the idea
does
of
look-
it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, he does look quite amazing.
It's pretty funny. But also the 2 other ones, the Mad Martian Gazlo looks pretty sharp. The turrets are pretty cool. My only fear is that a lot of people are going to be playing Gazlo now, and Gazlo is one of my least favorite champions to have on my team, unless somebody I know who is good at them is playing it.
Yeah, I would agree. Gazlo's kind of in that box with Murky for me, as in like I don't know why you're playing him, but I hope you know what you're doing, dude, because I would not have chosen him.
And when they do, they're godly. Like,
Sometimes.
triple, quadruple the hero damage, and it's just insane. I've seen some insane.
I've seen some
Gazlos.
insane
Yeah.
laser Gazlos, but like I've seen some pretty crappy Murkies just dying left and right and like leaving their egg in the middle of the lane.
I think an important thing about Gazlo is his damage output is slightly dependent on the ignorance of the other people playing the game.
That's true.
I agree. And his turrets are just really great, just for everything, really. I mean,
Yeah.
just like map reveal and everything. DPS.
Yeah, and, I
even.
mean, yeah, you can keep them off of things on like spiders.
Yeah.
You can prevent them from turning in and that kind of stuff. I just know I'll be playing a lot of Quick Match the week these come out because I don't want to risk going into Hero League and having somebody who, oh, hey, I just bought, the Gazlo skin. I'm going to play it. Let's have some fun. Like,
Yeah.
please, no, get out. Please,
No.
stop. What else is there? We got new mounts. The Golden Tiger got announced, which I know we've been harping on the Golden Tiger the past couple of weeks, and now we have to admit our ignorance.
Oh, yeah.
We were wrong.
Yeah.
What we've been making fun of is the Cyberwolf.
The golden
The golden
Cyberwolf.
Cyberwolf.
Yeah.
Which indicated to all of the older players, hey, that person just joined the game, they paid their way
Yeah,
in.
they paid their way
Yeah.
in. The Golden Tiger is different. So sorry, audience.
Yeah.
We're not that sorry. There's also the Hearthstone card.
I'm excited about
let's
that.
talk about
Just
this.
this week, I got my achievement. You get an achievement in Hearthstone called "Winner Winner Chicken Dinner" or something. you get 100 gold. But I guess in addition to that, now if you play both games, now I'm gonna get the mount.
It's a reward at 100 Hearthstone wins. You get the Hearthstone card. So I'll never get it because I'm god awful at Hearthstone.
I'll never get it, but I think it's really cool that they're kind of combined. They're just kind of mixing and matching all their games together. I believe that World of Warcraft also gets a pet,
That's true.
a golem, a grave golem pet,
Huh.
if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's cool. Yeah,
Yes.
if they start integrating World
Yeah,
of
like-
Warcraft back into Heroes, I might have to get back into World of Warcraft.
I think they're just
And
refreshing.
Aaron just got a really depressed look.
Dude, World of Warcraft got a huge cut in their players.
Yeah, people are starting to bail out.
Yeah, they're at their lowest of lows right now,
Mm-hmm.
The time has
which
come.
is still high. Don't get me wrong.
It's still
What
Blizzard's
month
MMO.
is it? How it's been out for what 12 years?
Right.
Yes.
Finally,
the
they're
time
starting
has
to
come,
dominate.
Bentley.
Well,
Yeah.
Blizzard, there's a way you get me back. Make it so I get some Heroes of the Storm rewards by playing World of Warcraft. Just FYI,
There you
if
go.
any of
There
you
you go.
Blizzard developers are out there. And then Billy the Kid. It's a pony mount? Kind of
yeah.
like what's the one they have right now? It's like Billy
Wonder
the Pony?
Billy?
Wonder
Wonder
Billy.
Billy. He has
So-
some rainbows going on. But
Yeah,
Oh, he's the
I think
greatest.
I think this is just the older version of Wonder Billy. It looks like to
Yeah.
me. I'm not that impressed with it. I don't know why they're doing it.
yeah, it doesn't look too. I mean, yeah, it doesn't look too much special.
I think that it's going to be because going at post launch, nobody can get Wonder Billy because it was proof that you
Oh.
were in the beta.
So it's
So
like
this is like the knockoff version for the people who start the game, a year after, and they want to be cool too.
Yeah,
I hate those.
I
cards
would
that
say
would
the
be cool.
Hearthstone card is probably the coolest mount.
Out of those three,
Out of
It
the new
looks
one.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that magic carpet that's still being teased
I'm
around.
still looking for something different or cool for Falstad and all these people who have something different.
They
for their-
don't get to use
And like
mounts at all.
Zagara,
Yeah.
Zagara's a huge one, and she's always just flying with her wings. And maybe they should
Sergeant Hammer
implement
just
it.
has those boosters.
Yeah,
She doesn't really
yeah.
have a mount herself. Well, yeah, no, it would be kind of funny to see
Yeah,
a tank mount.
they
up
should
or
mix that
something.
up a little bit.
And then, of course, yesterday in their announcement, they started to hype up Kael'thas. Spoiler alert: Kael'thas got released. Let's
Hey.
talk about that. Let's use this as our transition into the patch.
There you go, the Sun King.
The Sun King, the pain in the butt from what was it, Burning Crusade,
Sunwell?
or whatever you guys
Oh, yeah,
played in
he's-
Warcraft.
He's a
And-
prince. He's royalty. We've got royalty
We've
in
got
the
royalty in the
in the
house.
Nexus.
on your knees.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the abilities real quick. One, the trait that we should talk about first is an active, and whenever you activate it, it gives you bonus.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the best way to word this.
So-
it gives you bonus
So what
things
is
on the other abilities that you use, the other basic abilities. I should
Yeah,
say.
and the most common thing it does by looking at the W and the let's see, it basically you activate Verdant Spheres,
which is the D.
yeah, which is his trait to make the next ability more powerful, and that is kind of in the fine text of the ability. Usually, it's after you activate it, the next ability will have less mana cost and basically no cooldown. So
Well, I know that's on his W, right? I think on the Q. Well, let's just talk through the abilities real quick and talk about the enhancement with it. We got Flame Strike, which is his Q. It's an
Yeah.
AoE fire damage. When it's enhanced, it increases the size of the effect and the damage done.
yeah.
And it's a huge increase. When I tried playing them, it went from pretty much like Jaina's ice thing, about
Yeah.
that size, to almost, I'd say almost 3 times the size it looked. It was huge.
Yeah, to like Zagara's like alt, almost.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
about
was
that
huge.
size.
It was a big difference in the radius, and then the damage, of course, is
It turned into.
I'd like to see there be a talent that you can make it even bigger. Get mosh pits going on.
yeah.
That would be pretty funny.
Next one is Living Bomb, his W. Damages an enemy over a short time, after which the target will explode. damaging all nearby enemies. Casting a second living bomb on an enemy causes the first to explode immediately. So you can't have 2 out. And then if you use Verdant Spheres, it removes the mana cost and cooldown, like you were saying, Bentley.
Yeah, to kind of edit what you said, you can have 2 out if they're on 2 different targets. If you cast it, it's just like Xylene's Bomb in League of Legends. If you cast it on the same target, it immediately explodes that and then puts a new dot on there. But you could, because I was doing this in the try mode, you can put it on one person and then put it on another person if you use the D. And it doesn't immediately trigger the
Did you
one.
try just putting 2 Ws without the D?
You can't.
You can't.
It runs out
Yeah.
before
So,
the
so
cooldown's
if
over.
you use the D, maybe that's a glitch.
But
No, it's not.
there is a
It's-
you can also build into the W, and once it explodes, it spreads to nearby enemies, structures, and
Uh-huh.
heroes, which is pretty. It's kind of similar to Sylvanas' spread kind of thing going on.
E. What's
Yeah.
that E called?
Shadow Dagger.
Kinda,
Whatever,
and
okay.
it spreads, and that was pretty cool because whoever gets the living bomb, their damage per second. That's kind of like a poison. It's almost like a Envenom style play that I think you might like there, Aaron.
And you can also get Envenom on him. So there you
Whoa.
go. You can put 2 dots down on someone.
Oh man.
Wow.
Aaron's in love.
And then chuck a Phoenix at them.
And the Chuck of Phoenix.
And then of course his E, which is gravity lapse, basically just throws some wind at you, and you're up in the air, stunned for 1.5 seconds.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I would agree. But then again, that's the same amount of time that Lost Vikings are done for.
But that's an ultimate punishment. That's almost a punishment.
Okay.
That's this.
I
this
see where
is
you're
And
like-
they're the Lost Vikings. They needed it.
Yeah, they needed
So
it.
you're saying this stun may be too long?
I like the duration on it. I think it's good because it lets you set up the Q right underneath whoever you knock up.
Yeah.
It'll also give you a good. I think it's a great initiation tool, especially since when you use the D on it, it lets you knock up 3 targets instead of just 1.
Which that's a lot of good team play going on there.
Yeah,
3
Really-
heroes up in the air. Wow.
huge.
If I know anything about knocking up 3 targets at the same time, it is something that you do not want to do. No,
Well,
I'm just kidding.
And imagine having Kael'thas and Joanna on the same team. She's already got her shield stunning 3 heroes. This guy can basically stun another 3. I mean, there's going to be some
You know how
overlap.
There's
Yeah.
some huge synergy in there. Well, you're throwing Muradin with another 2. You
Oh,
know,
just stuns on
it's
stuns?
stuns on tops of stuns.
You know how irritating it is sitting in a stun locked position, how livid you feel that
Oh,
you can't
yeah.
do anything. It's gonna get so much worse.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I'm excited for
Let's
it.
talk ults.
Let's talk ults. Phoenix is the first one. You launch a Phoenix to a target area, and it deals damage along the way. Then it stops at the target area. It persists, dealing damage to one enemy it chooses and splash damage to everything else. I think this is the best ultimate out of the 2. Personally, what I tried, I felt it was a lot like the Garden of Terror W, where they plant the pot. I actually used it a couple of times exactly like that because the Phoenix has no health bar, so it lasts for the whole duration. There's no way to target and get rid of it. It lasts for the whole duration and does damage. I was able to knock down a couple of structures while walking
Yeah.
away.
I'm curious because I haven't played with Kael'thas in game at all. Does the Phoenix stay still or does it move?
You can move it,
But that's the next. Once you go into, I think it's its level 20 ability, which enables you to select the Phoenix once it's out. So like you'll cast it, and then it'll say an R, and then you can actually move the Phoenix to another spot
using R.
Gotcha.
Again, so
within
yeah,
like a
that is level
radius.
20.
And I mean, it's a big radius, but it's not like a across the map kind of thing. You have to be in the area, and Kael'thas has to be around the Phoenix as well.
And
for
it's
him
a
to-
melee attacker?
No, it's ranged.
Oh no, yeah, the Phoenix is just spitting fire at anyone who, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Of course, the other one is Pyroblast. After a short delay, which really threw me off in the game, I'll talk about that in a second, you cast a slow-moving fireball that deals a massive amount of damage. And when they say massive, they're not joking. That's a huge amount of damage to a target. It is an on-click, so you do pick one target. What threw me off with it is that it is an actual cast. You have to
Yeah.
actually cast it, because I tried, in the try mode, I tried to just click it off and then walk away. and it canceled the ultimate and put it on a cooldown.
Whoa.
It was only a half cooldown, so I got
Okay.
it back pretty quickly. But
How long
I
was the
wasn't
cooldown?
expecting it. I have no idea. I think the half cooldown was around 10 seconds or so.
So that could just be the cancellation cooldown.
And that's what it is. But it didn't say, you know, in the tooltip or anything that it's an actual cast. It just said short delay. So I figured it would be one of those things like Syndragosa off of Arthas,
Yeah.
or something like that, where you can just cast it and then it casts no matter what you do afterwards.
I'm very surprised that there's no splash damage with this. I mean, it's a
there
giant
is.
fireball.
There is.
Oh, so
splash
there
damage.
is.
It's only medium damage to nearby enemies. It's not the full thing.
Okay, but you
So
target one.
You target one person. It hits them. The slow moving does come into effect because the person can move away from the target. So essentially, you click on a person, a target area appears below them, and they have the ability to move out of it in time. If they move out of it in time, they take no damage.
Pyroblast?
Pyroblast, yeah.
That's weird.
I'm gonna say right now we're gonna be seeing a lot of Phoenixes.
I think Phoenix is a superior one.
Yeah.
And I might be completely off on Pyroblast because I was playing against a stupid AI who might not have just been moving. It might move with the target, but I don't think it does.
But-
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah,
I
something
agree.
to test in live play.
But even Phoenix would, because I'm trying to think of just different ways to play Kael'thas, and if you're trying to go for like a siege, kind of, you know, castle rush, the Phoenix would be great to getting those towers down.
Absolutely.
But also the Phoenix would be amazing with a hero engagement with like a whole team. I mean, and if anyone's trying to run away, you can have the Phoenix follow them.
Just chase them.
Yeah, the Pyroblast kind of seems, it slows him down. You know, he kind of has this momentum going on with like all of his abilities. The Pyroblast, I think that's going to slow him down. I'm not liking it.
It'll be interesting to see how Kael'thas develops. I don't feel like he's inherently overpowered right now, but of course I haven't played with him or
We'll let
against
you
him
know
in
next
live
week.
play. Yeah, we'll let you know next week. So let's
It
be
is
sure to check
interesting
that
though
out.
that his trait doesn't affect his ult, right?
I think that's good. I think it would become too strong after a certain point.
Yeah.
Because of the buffs it does give, the basic attacks, it makes them so much better.
Okay.
I don't think they could buff the ultimates in any way at all.
I don't know. I just thought it might be like a lost opportunity. They could have made it some more creativity.
And it did throw me off initially when I
Yeah.
played the game. I was like, oh, it doesn't affect the ults. Okay.
Yeah, but oh well. I mean, he still looks like he's going to be super fun to play. I'm going to try him out. Me being an assassin player, I'm liking where I'm debating on getting him at 15k, which I've never done before. So we'll see.
We could wait a week or two. It will drop.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did with Sylvanas, and that worked out too. So I don't know.
I hate spending my gold because even with a stim pack, it's hard to get it back up.
Yeah, I agree. It's those daily quests, man. I mean, that's really
That's
what
what
I
you gotta
push.
do.
If I'm low, I just forget whoever I want to play. I kind of have to just focus on the daily quests just to get my gold up.
Yeah, I'm bad about that. I really kind of ignore my daily quests and I play whatever I feel like playing.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on here about some other things in the patch. Texture updates. Huge.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's happened before. It happens every single patch, whether we know it or not. I'm excited that they are taking it seriously. It shows. It shows that they care about sustaining the game, and I think that we're going to continue to see it for a while. Whether or not they're making texture updates in 1 year, I will be very curious, and I really hope they are.
Yeah. I see this as a last-minute polish for the release. You know, it's no longer going to be in beta. It's going to go into open beta and then very quickly going to release. So they need to polish this guy up and just make it nice and pretty, pristine for new players. You know, us beta testers, we've seen well, I always play on low graphics just for the better performance, but
I started playing this game in March, so
Yeah.
about 2 months ago. The game has changed huge.
I
just
agree.
in 2 months.
I agree.
And that's only like 2 patches as well.
and we're just talking
It's-
about art here.
Yeah, and we're just talking about art. We're just talking about the in-game feel and graphics. It looks 500 times better than it
I
did
agree.
in March.
I agree.
So I can only imagine coming from alpha like you did into beta now. The change must be huge.
Well, one thing that I've noticed, and we talked about this earlier, is when in alpha, Murky was broken.
Yeah.
Murky was so strong,
Yeah.
and then they fixed him, quote unquote, fixed him,
Yeah.
and he was too weak. and then they fixed him again, and now he's in I think somewhere around like 57% win.
Yeah,
So they say he's in a good place. I trust their judgment.
It's good to see that Blizzard keeps their ear to the ground and changes things, whether it be a Heroes kit to just the in-game graphics. It's really nice to have a company that cares so much about their games like that.
Yeah.
I know some games just worry about rushing out heroes or rushing out competitions for people to play, and they don't really worry about what the game looks like. And then 3 years later, they're like, "Oh wait,
yeah,
we got to fix this."
Yeah. The graphics make a huge difference. I mean, and it's just aesthetics, but people are picky about those kind of things.
It's true. Let's talk about the next big thing: music update in the Battlegrounds. I'm kind of excited. I hated the music originally, so I turned it off and pretty much listened to Pandora while I'm playing, or Aaron talk, on Curse. I actually ignore him most of the time he's talking, and just listen to Pandora instead.
Yeah, and I'm on your side with I turned off the music, or actually the whole sound of the whole game the second I started playing, just so I can listen to my podcast basically. But
yeah, listen to other things.
Yeah,
there was also Diablo's Murloc skin got a voiceover. That's the skin I use in the game. I can't wait to try it out. I can't wait to hear what it sounds like. And then I'll probably shoot myself in the head because Murloc's...
You're going to hate it.
Murloc's disgusting.
Yeah.
It went from totally your style to totally not your style.
Absolutely, yeah.
Another update,
Yeah.
The ping system, the directional pings look more like what you're actually getting when you do it.
Yeah.
The danger, it looks like the danger exclamation point.
I know they also made it so that if you ping you're on your way, it displays a little arrow showing where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's
which I thought was really cool.
Yes, I agree with that, because it helps out your team to know which direction you're coming from, to plan ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, it just makes pretty good sense. They're doing good things over there at Blizzard. They're not slacking off over there.
Something else, and I don't know, maybe this was possible. I know it was possible to block individuals, but you can turn off team chat entirely.
All chat, which is very nice too.
It's very nice for certain players. I'm not that kind of player. I really depend on my chat because I think this is a really communication-driven game.
I agree.
But there are different players. There's a lot of us. And some people prefer to just never have Ragers on their team. So they block it.
Yeah, absolutely. There are a couple other interface options too they changed out. I'm just going to blow through this real quick. There's a mini-map click-through toggle now, so instead of, if you click on the mini-map, it'll just send you to where it is instead of sending you to where it is on the mini-map. And lastly, the most important thing that I think happened in this patch was the fact that if you reach level 25 on your account, all hero abilities and talents are immediately unlocked for you. And that's amazing, because I am tired of playing a free week champion I've never touched before at level 1 and only having a third of their abilities.
Or not having the good ult.
Or things like that. Yep. So I think that's a huge thing.
It's great. That's great. They listened to what people wanted.
And that's always nice.
And it kind of gives players a kind of a goal to get to level 25, so that way they don't have that initial struggle with any new characters.
Yeah, exactly. Lets you have a lot more fun on characters you never played before.
And once you're level 25, you kind of get the game, and you don't need this help step by step.
You're wanting to get to 30 for other reasons.
Exactly.
Right.
You want to get it done. I mean, you know how to play the game by then, hopefully.
All right. So last week we talked about the patch preview that they had released at the time. It was a Blizzard Blue post, and they just hyped up certain things. And a lot of the things they hyped up and that we talked about came through. Sylvanas got changed a little bit, like we talked about earlier in the podcast. Abathur got changed in a good way, and so on and so forth. I want to talk about the two major changes, though, and that's Diablo and ETC.
Okay, so who would you like to talk about first?
Let's break down Diablo, because
okay.
he's my favorite champion in
your
the entire
baby
world.
here.
He's
your
my baby.
Yep,
He's my bae.
Okay.
The first thing to talk about is the fact that his health got decreased. His overall health
got
decreased. I'm not sure how I feel about that. but it really wasn't decreased that much. It was decreased by like 100 hit points.
And do you think this is decreased because of his new alt ability at the end?
I think it was needed. He is strong.
It was needed because late game he would just be so stupid
Pretty
tanky that it was
beefy.
impossible to take down.
Yeah.
He was harder than Muradin to take down.
That's very true.
Yeah.
He got some new abilities. I want to talk about those real quick. Life Leech, level 13. I'm really excited for this. It replaced Spell Shield, which got removed.
Yes.
And what it does is it deals 1% max health damage to all enemies in an AoE area while
You said
also
1%?
healing them. 1%, yeah. So it's not that much damage, but it gives him a way to heal up if his healer isn't there right away. So, one of my favorite things to do with Diablo is charge straight into a team fight with my shadow charge, and usually that leaves my team behind a little bit, but it gives me a great way to initiate a fight. The problem was I would just take so much damage from that that by the time my team caught up, I'd be at half health, and I'm just hoping and praying I hold off long enough to help control the fight so that my team can get kills before I die, because inevitably I'm going to die.
So you're hoping that this Life Leech is going to help
Hopefully
you
that'll help me survive
sustain.
a little bit longer.
Okay, alright.
Or you can just wait for your team, Billy.
Yeah, you can be a
No,
team
I don't
player.
do that.
No,
I don't do that.
No.
That's
Okay.
not cool. There's Lord of Terra at level 20. I think this is going to be stupid OP. I think this is going to get changed really fast. Essentially, what it does is it's similar to Life Leech, whereas it sucks 10% of health from surrounding enemies, and I believe Diablo gets that health back too.
So does it just give an area and effect around Diablo and it stays with him as he moves?
No, it's just a one-time cast, so it's like an AoE blood for blood.
Okay.
So
okay.
you have to clarify for me.
Okay.
10% off of every champion in the area.
Uh-huh.
So that's like.
It's an AoE blood for blood.
So if can Diablo take blood for blood?
No.
See, because if he could, that would mean that you could instantaneously kill someone with only percentage damage.
Right. You could deal 25% damage to any champion in the game, and if you're targeting the enemy
And then
tank with
with
that,
the rest of your
so thank
team-
God he doesn't have blood for blood.
Yeah.
What else? What are some other important things to talk about here? This is a change I really liked. They made it so that the souls, instead of giving flat health, give percentage health. They give a 0.15% health. It's a nerf pre-level 10, but after level 10 it becomes a buff, because then at that point he starts getting more health than he would have off of the flat health.
So you're thinking like early game Diablo's going to be a lot weaker.
He'll be
now,
a little bit
a
weaker,
little softer.
but then late game he becomes the mega tank that he is now.
So it looks like Blizzard's trying to make Diablo more of a late game because it seems like he was kind of struggling late game.
Well, it's not that he was struggling late game, it's just his early game was so strong. Like, there were multiple times where I was able to walk up to, like, an enemy gate and just overpower them from their base, out of their base, and knock them back into my
Wow.
teammate.
Yeah.
And it was unfair because I'd be taking tower damage the whole time, but I wouldn't be dying.
yeah.
So, they fixed that so that won't be happening as much anymore. I'll still be trying to do it because, that's just what I do.
So how does Diablo compare to ETC now, since they were the two strongest? At least, the most common for the past week, at least.
Well, from my understanding, ECC got some quality of life changes. Both of these were more of side grades instead of nerfs. They just made it so that other tanks had the ability to step in. I think we're going to see a lot more Muradin now. Maybe a little bit more Stitches.
His damage got increased, and as an avid Muradin player, that's pretty nice. Muradin was never a hard damage dealer. I mean, late game he is with his one of the traits at the end just increases his damage like 300%,
Yeah.
which just helps a lot, which is needed. But early game he did nothing. All you could do was jump around and stun and not
Yeah.
die.
So
now
this will give them a
yeah.
competitive edge.
Yeah, and it's just one. Like I think it increased from 7 to 8. So, but that's going to add up, and that makes a difference.
One of the big changes to Diablo, which I think is going to make him a lot more fair, is the fact that previously, during the Shadow Charge, he was unstoppable. So he could charge through anything and get to the enemy team. There was no way to interrupt it. But now it is. He can be stopped, which is going to be huge.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's really helpful because this is a way to kill Diablo. Previously, it was harder to kill him. This is just another way to stop him, so it makes him a little bit more fair. A couple other big points to hit. Soul Catcher. It's a level 4 talent. It's a new one. It'll passively generate a soul every 4 seconds. I don't think it'll be strong. I can see new Diablo players taking it until they get used to playing Diablo a little bit more, but it's a good way to transition into them. We got another level 4 talent, Essence of the Slain. He gains 10 mana for nearby minions.
Wow.
It's a big deal because a lot of his abilities, I know Q specifically, the Shadow Charge, had mana increases. And he has mana problems already. So I don't know if that's something that'll necessarily be needed to take. I'll need to playtest that some.
That's interesting.
Yeah. There's a level 1 talent called Overwhelming Force. It increases the range and knockback of his Shadow Charge. Probably, again, something I won't take just because I like the control Shadow Charge gives me. I don't want to knock somebody back away too far. And then lastly, a level 7 talent that got added in. Shadow Charge reduces the... wow, I really can't talk.
You're right.
Reduces the... the duration of hindrances by 50% for 3 seconds. So once he charges, things like Polymorph, stuns, slows, all get reduced by 50 seconds.
So it reduces the duration, it doesn't stop them, of course.
It doesn't stop them, but for the next 3 seconds, he has a buff that makes him more like less time to hit.
Interesting. I don't know.
Let's break down ATC then. So Diablo, the overall changes, I think it was a side grade. I think it was a quality of life change, and then it allows other tanks to step up because it creates a little bit of a power gap. It's changing him from being a early powerhouse into late game mega tank, into something a little more squishy early game into that late game mega tank. ETC, let's talk about him. Bentley, why don't you go ahead?
Well, I'm seeing a lot of traits removed. First of all, first Rockstar trait. It no longer affects allies and minions. Are you guys familiar with Rockstar?
I am.
Yeah, what Rockstar does is it gives you like a movement speed and attack speed increase for a short amount of time whenever he uses an ability.
Just attack speed, but you
just
can
attack
take
speed.
a trait to give it movement speed.
Okay.
Interesting. So it no longer affects allied minions or mercenaries, so heroes only. We're seeing.
So it would seem.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
I do. I think it was too strong early game to give him that. If you ever play against an ETC in lane, he's always up against your towers because his minions are so much stronger than yours.
And
especially if he laned with a Raynor.
Yeah, and he's not supposed to have that role. I mean, he's a warrior. He's not supposed to be
a pusher.
I agree. Okay. And the next is Power Slide. Increased mana from 50 mana to 60. Not that big of a deal, but that does add up. And I know Power Slide is used a lot. You always see him sliding around, and I think that's going to create some mana issues for him.
There was a level 1 talent added, Rolling Like a Stone. It increases Power Slide's range by 25%.
Yeah, that's
huge. That's huge.
Yeah, that's huge, to say the least. What's next? Level 4, Double Neck Guitar. Power Slide's width, 100% increase and speed, 30% increase.
The speed needs to happen. If you're going to increase his range and his width, the speed needs to happen too, because he's slow moving enough you can move out of it. But I really like the fact that they're including a talent to increase the speed at which he power slides.
And I mean, looking at it now, if you just go for a power slide build, this is pretty intense, because his next talent for level 13 is he gains resilience, basically. 25% of all damage is reduced for 4 seconds after casting Power Slide. That's huge. Imagine Power Sliding into a group of enemy heroes. Everything they do to you, 25% off that damage.
But you power slide in there, and then you do your Mosh Pit ult.
There you
go. For 4 seconds of that, you're taking 25% less damage. That's big.
That is big. And wow. And Power Slide is probably one of his biggest abilities.
One of his most used.
Does he have Hardened Shield?
I do not believe so.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So that's kind of his small version of Hardened Shield.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. What's next here? Face Melt. Another mana increase.
Yeah. ETC needs it. He gets off too easy with the mana, especially with the increases he needs. I mean, these increases are going to nerf him just enough that'll make him a little more fair in lane. It's not like he'll be able to spam his abilities as much anymore.
Yeah. I mean, Mana is always a big thing with warriors, and I don't know. With these increases, we'll see. We'll see what that does to him. He has some other.
We got some new talents for Face Melt. We got Mic Check. Hitting 3 or more targets reduces the cooldown on Face Melt by 4 seconds. I think that's really awesome. Pinball Wizard. Love the Who shout out there. Face Melt also deals an additional 50% of damage recently affected by Power Slide, so that'll be cool.
So there you go.
Wombo combo right there. There's Encore. Face Melt now leaves behind an amplifier, which will knock back enemies back again after 2 seconds. I like that. I think that's fun. That's kind of cheeky.
Yeah, I like these little guitar things that they were throwing in here. His E guitar solo mana cost decreased. Whoa,
Heyo.
60 to 40.
None of you have brought up the huge change to ETC, which is Death Metal. Death
That's
Metal
coming up.
is the
We're
level
coming up.
20 trait,
Yeah.
at which, after ETC dies, regardless of which ultimate he chose, he begins an uninterruptible mosh pit, which can
Yeah,
be
it casts
so
out his death
strong.
location. Absolutely. Yeah, it can be picked, like Aaron said, it can be picked even if Stage Dive was selected as a heroic ability.
I think we're going to see a lot of stage dives into a team fight where they die in mosh pit.
Right. And I mean, that's just my style. I'm loving it. There was also a new level 20 talent called Tour Bus. It allows ETC to cast Power Slide during Mosh Pit.
What?
During Mosh Pit. That's awesome.
I wonder if
How does that
be
even
able
work?
to do it during his death metal.
Well, no, because they're both level 20 talents, so you can't pick them. They're exclusive to each
So
other.
basically, while you're moshing and all the enemy heroes, stunned or moshing, you can power slide away.
Well,
while
so
they're
some of the issue you can have sometimes with Mosh Pit is if it doesn't hit everyone,
Oh.
you only clip like part of the team. So now it's giving him the ability to slide
So do you think that
during the
cancels?
Mosh Pit. No, it does.
I
It
bet
doesn't
that,
cancel
I bet
anything.
that if you get out of it, but I think that a well-informed ETC would not do that. I think it's more so that when you barely clip somebody on the very front side and the others are escaping just beyond, you can power slide, get 2 more, keep that other person still in the circle.
Yeah.
Okay.
and you're good to go.
That's big then.
I think that'll be one of those. Oh my god, I've been missing my mosh pits all game. I need some help doing it. Yeah. So overall, some pretty fun changes. Two really powerful champions. Diablo with the biggest effect. ETC just slightly behind. I really do think this will open up a vacuum, allow a couple more tanks to step in. Specifically, Muradin. I think we'll be expecting to see a lot more of him.
I hope.
Yeah, I know you hope, that's for sure.
So
that'll
I'm
be
always playing them.
right.
And
So-
Mortariel for you.
well, let's hope. The Tyrael's my new one of my new favorite champions, which leads
Yeah.
us to Watch Us Climb.
Watch us climb.
Let's talk about Watch Us Climb. So, a
Hey.
special segment of Watch Us Climb today. We didn't really get a chance to play together this past week. Bentley had finals. I
Yeah.
was busy.
We had a few games.
We had a couple of games together, but
and I think we duoed a couple times. Bentley and I played together a few times.
And I think I played with you once or twice. But this week, I want to deviate from our norm, and let's just talk about individual play throughout the week. So, Bentley, give us a quick highlight of one of your favorite games you played on Hero League this week.
I would say I played a game with Sonia, and I had 2 daily quests. One to play as a warrior, and one to play as a Diablo character. So there you go. Both quests were being done by playing Sonia. And I love what the new update actually tells you underneath each hero. What quests will you be completing by playing that hero? Another just interesting side fact there. But yeah, I'm loving her. She's really cool. She's kind of like Illidan in the way that whenever you have an ability, you should use it. I mean, just because her resource just doesn't run out. And I mean, and it's just really cool. I liked her abilities. Her basically reverse hook. Really great initiator. She does a great amount of damage, and she can heal herself like immensely with her swinging. And she runs. She's pretty fast. She has her Fury adds movement speed as well. So I'm just liking her. I played her one game, did really well, and I got her up to level 4.
Have you tried the Beyblade build?
No.
Where you just max her E.
Just max her? No, I haven't tried that.
It's a lot of fun.
I was doing her slamming one.
Oh, it's strong.
Okay.
Yeah, I was doing her W, I believe, and that was doing like 600 damage at late game, so that was destroying towers like with 2 of them.
So what rank are you at now?
On Hero League?
Yeah.
I think I'm still down there like 48, I think.
So
49.
Bentley sucks at Hero League.
Yeah, I suck at Hero League, and I brought Aaron down to the 40s as well.
Yeah, I think
Let's talk about you this week, Aaron. How
I
are
think
you
we played
doing?
3 games.
Yeah.
And you took me from 37 back to 40.
Yeah. So get on my level, sir. Get on.
Just trying to bring you down.
No,
All right, give us a highlight of your
it
Hero League
wasn't
this
you.
week.
I lost more than I won this week. And honestly, with Pillars of Eternity coming into my arsenal, I really haven't been doing Hero League justice. But honestly, my best games came from Sylvanas and Brightwing. I still have almost an 80% win rate with both of those champions. And I'm afraid to pick other champions. Like, I lose on every other champion. Like, I think I have a 0% win rate on everyone except for those 2.
Those 2 are incredibly strong, too. I know you guys have been alluding it throughout the entire cast. I played pretty much Tyrael only this weekend in Hero League. I was able to buy him, I think, on Friday, and I was really excited to play him.
How much was he? I'm just curious.
He's 7,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's not too much.
Worth every gold right there.
Worth every penny so far.
Yeah.
I really want his Master Skin, and that's why I've been playing him a lot. His Master Skin,
yeah.
I think, looks really, really sick. So I want that. I did really well with him. First 5 games I played on him, I went undefeated.
Nice.
Then I lost a couple, and then I won 2 more. I basically ended up going from level 47 to level 40 on Tyrael just in one day. And in Hero League, just using Tyrael.
Oh, wow.
And it was really awesome. I'm having a lot of fun on him. So hopefully we can keep, I can keep pulling them out.
What build did you go with Tyrael? Did you go with...
I change it up every time.
Okay.
I think the only 2 things I get consistently are his ultimate. I go for the Judgment one, which is his charge at an enemy. I like the invulnerability ultimate, but I think the charge is a little bit better.
I agree.
And then I get the blocking field on his Q every single time, just because I have so much fun with it. Especially when you can compete with nodes. For that, you can just, like, even if you see an enemy going for a node and he's about to kill it, you can Q in there, knock him off, kill the bad guy, and you capture the node.
I think that
yourself.
a good Tyrael player has good awareness of the nodes and where he can be jumping to screw people over.
Oh, it's so much
I agree.
fun.
And he even has this little skill that kind of adds in a little support factor for his heroes as well, with like speed and a shield, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fun. Yeah, Tyrael's an awesome...
He's a good balance, right? He's not quite as tanky as Stitches or Diablo or ETC, but I think he makes for a great off tank. So, I'm going to try to continue to develop my gameplay with him.
So your goal is to get Master Skin Tyrael.
I think he will be the first one to get Master Skin.
There you go.
Because I don't like the Diablo Master
Stay
Skin.
tuned, folks, for Tyrael Master Skin and possibly a build.
Possibly a build. Maybe.
Possibly.
Well, maybe that's what we'll do next week. I could do a Tyrael build.
Yeah.
Well, hey, maybe.
All right, well, time to go home and do some homework. All right, that's pretty much the end of our podcast tonight. I can't think of anything else we need to talk about. So, let's change. Okay, Aaron's got his finger up. What's up?
One thing that we need to shout out is you can contact us and join the conversation at niceguysnetwork@gmail.com, or leave us a comment on our YouTube, leave one on our Reddit. We read every single comment, and usually one of us responds. If not, we talk about it in the podcast. And we'd love to hear from you, hear what you like, what you dislike, what can we improve on, what do you want to hear about. So just jump into the conversation.
And let us know. Bentley, take us out this week.
Well, folks, thank you for listening to Podcast Heroes, where we podcast about heroes.